Hey everybody, welcome to 3D Archery. Greg here. Alright, in archery, especially 3D archery, many ways to set up a course, and vast majority are target archery courses. Nothing against them, not for me. Broadside, wide open shot, nothing between you and the target. Alright, all you do is just shoot it, that's it, move down a big wide road to the next one. That's not for me. I like things that are unique and memorable. Nobody remembers a broadside shot. Why would you? So one of our members of our club went out to Tractor Supply and seen something, and it drew inspiration, and that's what we built. So what did we get? We got that. One of our members seen it, and they waited. It's a Christmas rooster, but they waited till after the holidays and got it on sale for less than $100. All metal. I'm going to have to cut some holes in it and work it now. I do have some issues I got to overcome, and that's what we're going to cover in this video, just to show you the thought process behind it. But I'm telling you, how many courses have a giant radioactive rooster in it, right? That's what makes it unique, and that's what I love. People come from the shoot, see that, and go, man, you wouldn't believe what these idiots did. But it gets you remembered, and that's what I like. Alright, so my first issue is how I'm going to cut it. I have to remove one of the wings, cut a hole in it. That's pretty much straightforward. I'll use a sawzall on it and do that. But the other one is foam. I have archery foam, but there's a flaw with it, which I'll show you up here next. Alright everybody, this is my workshop. It's just a shed. Down here in Louisiana, they don't have basements. That's where my workshop was in New York. And they don't have garages. They have carports, so everything will be outside. So I had to buy a shed, not a big one. A little cramped, but hey, it gets things done. So what I use this archery foam from Foam by Mail. It comes in a 2 foot by 2 foot section. It's 2 inches thick. Great stuff, $24. Stops arrows. The problem is the arrows actually pass through a decent amount, and if it goes through enough, it's going to hit the other side, might blunt some tips, and people will get mad, complain, and it ruins the rooster. So I'm going to have to figure out a way to, I'm thinking of putting 2 sections of it, never put them together, doesn't do a whole lot more, but have a gap, and that should slow it down enough. That's what I'm hoping for, and we'll find out. This is how big I'm hoping to have the rooster hole. I already measured it, and I got to cut it. Alright? So let's do a test. I'll show you what I mean about how the arrows pass through this foam. So I shot the first arrow, went and looked at it, and it dawned on me, you know what? Let me go get my skinny arrow. So I went, came back, got skinny arrow. That's what it is to break. And there's the difference, right? Penetration test. Now, if you took a insert from a actual 3D target, probably work even better. That's expensive. That's at least another $100. We're trying to keep it inexpensive, right? So the thick arrow, it's about 6.5 inches of penetration. And then the skinny arrow, almost 8.5, just under 8.5. So a 2-inch difference, which that's from about 15 yards, probably what they'll be shooting about from in the course. That should be good enough. So now I got to figure out how to mount the 2 different pieces. Can't put them on the same rail because it would just slide. So I have to mount one and mount the other. But before I do all that, I got to cut the hole. So here it is. I used a pair of wire snips on it, and it worked well, but uneven. It's wobbling. I'm going to have to smooth that out. But I did do my sawzall and it worked easy. But what I found was they have metal braces in there. So it took a little more work. But the biggest thing I realized was, how am I going to get the foam in there? The block. It's not going to fit. Alright, so what I ended up having to do was cut a hole in the bottom of it Now I can insert the foam block and I'll be able to mount it. And that's what I love about making things. You find an obstacle, work a plan, and find a fix. Alright. Cut, hole, sorry about not filming it. My bad. I'm going to mount it. Let's see what it looks like. I don't know if I got to put another section in, but I will anyways. Went to Home Depot and bought some 3-inch light bolts. And I realized when I put the foam in here, the gap is more than 3 inches. Why? Because rounded edges. So I cut it down smaller. Note to self. So next thing I gotta do, I gotta paint it. I sanded it because this has a coating on it, and a lot of times the paint doesn't adhere to it. And I'm gonna burn in some target scoring rings. Now, got this from Dr. Jerry DiCarlo. It's awesome. Just put it on there wherever you want, trace it out, and then you burn it in. So that's what I'm gonna do next. I got an idea for it. I want to paint orange and leave the target area white. And with a little red center. Well, I was going to say to mimic this, but then I realized they ain't even close. Alright, you know what? Pretty simple build. You can knock this out in a couple hours if you want. So what does it look like? There it is. You know what? I figured to make the target zone colorful. The whole thing's colorful and it sort of fits the whole pattern. Now we have it. Probably the most unique 3D target in all Louisiana. There you have it, everybody. For about 120 bucks, you too can have a really unique target. Alright, everybody. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. And I'll see you next time with an all-new episode, 3D Archery. I can't shoot it. The girl that came up with the idea and bought it, I'm letting her have first shot. Just how it goes.